All right, welcome everyone. My name is Steve Stegner, and we have the Quad Area Marketing Expo panel today. And we have all kinds of different businesses that are represented here. We have social media, we have email marketing, we have radio, we have print newspaper, we have print marketing, we have graphic design, and then we have a do-it-yourself also for marketing. So we're going to have, first the format is going to be, I'm going to have each one of the panelists introduce themselves. They'll give a 1 minute on who they are and what experience they might have to make them able to thrive in this marketplace. And I will be timing you, so if you're going over a minute, I will cut you off. And then what we're going to have is we're going to have some question and answer. I have some prepared questions, and we're going to hear from the experts on how they would handle different situations, and hopefully you'll get a lot out of it. At the end, we're going to have time for everyone to ask questions. Also in front of you, I have a sheet of paper, and I have bullet points in front of each one of our panelists. So those could be to write down those 3 key takeaways that you have from each one of our panelists up there. So first of all, I'm going to introduce myself, and then we're going to go all the way down to the end to Lisa over there, and she's going to start with her 1 minute introduction, and we're going to come this way. So I'll know when we're done, because we're going to get right back here with Randy at this end. So I wanted to start again by thanking the Quad Area Chamber for putting this on, and it's being recorded. So when you get done and you want to share it with your friends, you can do that. Hello everyone, my name is Steve Stegner. I help business owners sleep well at night. Have you ever come across a roadblock or wanted to grow your business, make more money, or balance family and life relationships? That is where a business coach comes in. I love sharing in my clients' successes, and each client is different. We go through a process and we take their unique skill set and their unique goals, and we create strategies to help them meet their goals. I have the whole gamut of coaching clients. I have one client who runs a $2 million company. She decided she wanted to go down to part-time this year, so we made that happen. I have another one, get this, 18 years old, grossed over $1 million last year on her online business, and her comment to me was, Steve, let's blow this up. Young people talk, for sure. But anyway, having a great business coach is like winning a lottery. So you have a lottery ticket in front of you, make sure you check it tomorrow or the next day, whenever that happens. I'm Steve. I help businesses grow and become successful. So then I'm going to turn it all the way over down there to Lisa. Lisa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Lisa Leisman. I'm the owner of Rapid Press Printing in Forest Lake. We specialize in full-color business cards, brochures, signs, and banners. We have a whole plethora of other things we also do in print marketing. We're here to make sure your business and you look fantastic on paper, on signs, retractable banners, all the fun things. But we also do it in a timely manner, hence Rapid Press Printing. Our biggest thing, like I said, is just making sure everyone looks fantastic. We take all of your branding and make sure it goes across all of your pieces that we're going to be doing. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I'm Lisa Leisman with Rapid Press Printing, your one-stop print shop.
Hi everybody, I'm Lisa Burnside. I'm a Doctor of Business Administration, and I am a distinguished Toastmaster. My business is Burnside Dynamics, where I coach online graduate students, help them figure out exactly how to do all of this weird academic writing thing. My other thing that I'm doing in representing here today is Toastmasters. Toastmasters is where you get to learn communication and leadership skills in a really safe environment. Communication is not just about speaking. A lot of people, oh no, Toastmasters, that's that whole public speaking thing, back up. Yes and no. Communication's speaking and listening. That's why I'm in Toastmasters and have been since 2008. Prior to being a graduate student coach, I used to teach legal, ethics, and operations to insurance agents. Some of the most boring subjects ever. But trust me, I can make them really interesting. But I needed, in this new business, to get my ideas across in a minute, minute and a half, instead of hour, hour and a half. Part of communication is also listening and providing feedback. And that's some things that Toastmasters can teach you as well. I'm here today to help show you how communication skills for yourself can help you market yourself. And by the way, my doctoral study was on marketing innovation strategies in a private country club.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Mayhew. J Mayhew Marketing is my company. I started out in the corporate world with Walt Disney World, doing social media marketing and also brand management for them. Since then, I've done some freelance management and social media marketing for Cirque du Soleil, SeaWorld, Parks and Entertainment, and a lot of other major corporations, and decided that I wanted to. My wife was from Forest Lake, so we left Orlando and moved back here and decided to quit really the corporate world and really focus on local businesses to be able to give that local touch back to help. So I'm here to talk about social media management, PR, marketing, and other things that you guys may be interested in and how I can make your brand my business. Jason Mayhew, J Mayhew Marketing.
All right. My name is Lonnie Olson, and I'm a graphic designer, web designer. I do print and digital design. My background is actually in architecture. I got my bachelor's and my master's degree in architecture, and I worked for an architecture firm for about 10 years, and I realized that that was way too technical for me. I was not digging the numbers and all that. They soon realized that I was really good at creating things, and so they set me free, said go purchase Photoshop, and we have logos and websites and flyers and banners that we need created. And so that's where I got my start. So I was pretty much self-taught, and ever since then I've been doing what I love. I just love creating things for people, and they can give me a whole pile of words and I can turn it into something really cool that looks great and incorporates their brand. Lonnie Olson, graphic design.
My name is Michelle Cook. I'm the owner of Main Street Marketers, which is based here in the Quad, and I'm the Director of Marketing for the Quad Area Chamber, so thanks for coming out today. My passion is helping small businesses and nonprofits tell their story in a way that's engaging to their audience. So I create content for websites, print design. I come up with the pile of words because a lot of people can't come up with the pile of words, and really create content wherever it's needed. And my goal is always to create authentic content and shorten a business owner's to-do list.
Brad Clark, Total Country Bob FM. I'm the General Sales Manager, and we have 6 stations across the state, ranging from Princeton, St. Cloud area, all the way down to Faribault, so you can reach 2/3 of the state, or you can reach, with the individual stations, just the Forest Lake area. You can reach just the Twin Cities. You can reach just St. Cloud. What I like to do is to help move your business to the top of the list in people's Google searches in their mind. I'm not talking about the searches that they type in, the SEO. I'm talking about when people think of a certain business in a certain category, what is the first, second, or third business? And if you're after that, where are you in their mind? So for example, you want breakfast. I gotta go run through somewhere. One of the top 3, I'm guessing, without polling everybody in this room, is gonna be McDonald's. Well, why are they there? Marketing. We can do the same thing, even with small businesses, in people's minds to get you top of mind. Top of mind, 2/3 of people that, 3/4 of people that have that business in mind, they're gonna do business with that particular business that comes to mind first. So we help move that up there through branding and everything we do. Brad Clark, Total Country, Bob FM.
Randy Roberts, Associate Ad Director for Press Publications. Our papers cover pretty much all Ramsey County, parts of Anoka and Washington County, with community papers in the Quad area, Lionel Lake, Circle Pines, Shoreview, Hugo, White Bear, Vadnais Heights, Forest Lake, and Stillwater. I'd say probably what I do is I'm a provider of information. And I feel like businesses are putting together their marketing plans. It's important for them to have all the information in front of them before they make a decision. And so my job is to make sure that businesses have the information about the newspaper industry and what our audience can do for them. And so I'd say that's the key thing of what we do. So I'm Randy Roberts, again, with Press Publications.
Well, thank you, everyone. Now you know why we put together this panel. We have some great knowledge in the room here, and we're going to help get that knowledge to you and help your businesses grow and thrive. So let's start on why marketing is so important. As a business coach, I work with all types of businesses, those who are making their own dent in the universe, and those just starting out or trying to get that over that hump of being profitable. And the conversation of marketing always comes up. And what comes first, marketing or sales? Clearly, the businesses that I've worked with, if they want to thrive, they really focus on marketing. And when you think about marketing, that's pretty all-encompassing, as you see just from the folks we have here. The SBA recommends that we spend 7% of our gross sales on marketing. That's a huge, huge number, but it isn't as daunting as you probably think. The thing about our businesses now is we probably all have an area that we work around. We might specialize in real estate in a certain community or a certain part of the county, but you do have the opportunity right now to do business globally, even outside of the state and globally. I have one client that's international. How did I get that client? It's the same way I get my clients that I have from out of state. It's marketing, marketing, marketing. And these folks here are going to help you understand why marketing is so important. So we're going to start out with some questions to the panelists, and I want to start out with Lonnie, because everything starts with good graphic design. So Lonnie, why is professional graphic design so important?
Well, I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
But like you said, you specialize in your business, and as you guys specialize in your small business. And I know so many small businesses that they want to DIY their graphic design. And really, what you want to be doing is what you love to do and not the graphic design work. And I've seen many clients that have created items that had errors or just had poor resolution. They didn't understand DPI and colorways and RGB and CMYK. I could go on and on, but so that's where I come in. I will take my clients' wishes and goals, and I'll deliver a product. And a lot of the times, I don't even have to edit my stuff because they'll be like, "You nailed it. I don't know how you knew what I needed. I don't know how you got my branding correct, but it's there the first time." And so the way I look at it is I'm actually saving them time and money. So they're investing in me, but I'm also spending a lot less time than they would probably DIY it. And a lot of the times, the errors that you may be making on a DIY project can actually negatively impact your business.
Absolutely. Color selection is one of those horrible things I see with DIYers. And
Yep.
27 fonts and one.
Clip art, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Don't do clip art, please. I do clip art, but that's with the Cub Scouts. When I make a Cub Scout flyer, I'll use a lot of clip art because they love it.
Perfect.
So,
Brad, I'm going to go to you next because I think you're kind of the elephant in the room, right? Because, you know.
I'm on a diet. I'm trying to work on it.
Well, we look at radio, and I've advertised in radio in the past, but we look at this as being like just for really large companies. So how can an owner of a one location business find radio effective?
It really is about being consistent. So every radio station has a certain number of listeners at a certain time. And if you can't, some of the mistakes that people do in radio is they want to reach everybody. Well, you want to reach as many people as you want. That's great. That's true. But what you really want to do is if everybody came to Living, let's say you were successful, and everybody you were trying to reach came into your business, are you able to handle that? That would be a little daunting. So what you really want to do is focus on a certain population. And you can, with radio, you can look at demographics, you can look at location as well, and all kinds of different things. And that helps, talk to the people you want to talk to. But for the small business owner, if you talk to a certain population over and over again and give them a consistent branding message, but yet invite them to come in for whatever it is. It could be a sale, it could be some event, it could be something else going on. And if you talk to that population, whether it's 200 people, 5,000 people, 10,000, 100,000 people, based on the size of your business and your investment, that's how you can win. So we have just very briefly, we've got a business we work with Bob. They're doing overnights. They said, we can't handle anything more than this. Our budget will handle only about $100 a week. Great, we'll do overnights. All of a sudden, the website hits went through the roof. I wonder how that happened. Because there are people that listen overnights. There are people that listen at certain times every week. So if you can just hit that population and always consistently be there for them, tell your story, remind them that you're there, and give them a reason to give you a call, then you can get to the top of their the Google list in their head. That's how a small business can win on a budget.
Brad, it's really nice to know that people can actually see the return on their investment sometimes right away. And I have to go to, sorry, Randy. I apologize. No, Randy, so you're in the newspaper business.
Yeah.
How do you respond when people say newspaper is dead?
It's interesting, I'm sitting here next to Brad, and our industry's kind of parallel the last 20-plus years since internet became a source of another marketing source to reach different people. So yeah, you got to go back a little bit in history on that at one time it was TV, radio, and the newspaper industry, and each had its own, different audiences and so forth. But when internet came along, all of a sudden people started saying, maybe they did for radio too, but for newspaper they said newspapers are dying. And it's really never been the case for local community newspapers. And so what happened was people said it as a general statement and kind of accepted as truth. And I know major dailies have had across the country had their challenges, but community newspapers have always had something that nobody else has had. That's the local niche. We're the only ones that really cover the schools and the school boards and your kids' names in the paper and obituaries and police reports. People have that too. So it's that local niche, and people have always continued to read that. But there was this perception that we weren't viable anymore. Were the number of readers down a little bit? Yeah, a little bit, because we had to adjust with internet, with our websites. So people now can go on the website, they can look at print, some do both, some do one or the other, but we have more readers now than ever. And so our audience is still a very viable reach for any business that wants to reach your typical household and resident. But yeah, it goes back to the niche that we have and nobody else has, and we'll continue to have it.
Great. I always enjoy reading my local paper. I hear what's happening at city council meetings. I hear what's happening in the schools, and it's just a great form of information.
The local newspapers, that's when they want that news. The local newspaper is the single most biggest source for that people go to.
Awesome.
Plus, it's trust. People trust the local community paper.
Michelle, are there different types of emails out there? Tell us about that.
Yes, you can use email marketing for a variety of purposes. You can obviously share a promotion, but you can also use it to, say, send out a survey and get input from your customers so that you know what it is that they want. There's milestone emails, so if you've collected anniversaries or birthdays, you can send out messages for those occasions and stay in front of your customers that way.
Okay, great. Lisa Burnside, tell us how Toastmasters can help market yourself.
Thank you. Well, a couple of the different things is you are your business, and especially when you're a small business, it's you. They need to trust you. You have to be able to speak to people. Just this last week, my other business, which is a nonprofit, We Saw the Light, my partner Cody and I were at a Zoom meeting, and We Saw the Light is all about her and her story of losing her husband. We support families of suicide victims, and they've lost somebody to suicide, so we walk alongside them. And we were giving a presentation to the Anoka Mental Health Awareness Group. I was giving the entire presentation because Cody was so withdrawn. She said, I just shake, I'd start to cry, I just couldn't speak. But it was her story that I was telling. Whereas with Toastmasters, you get to practice. You get to be in a safe environment. You get people there that will help teach you maybe different ways to do things. Case in point, Michelle, Lonnie, and Lisa have all been at Toastmasters. And prior to going to Toastmasters, they probably would not be sitting on this side of this table. You need to be out there talking to people, being comfortable, and when you can exude confidence and tell your story, people are more likely to buy from you and do business with you. But they need to know about it and that you exist, and you need to be able to tell your story. And Toastmasters can help you do just that.
Awesome. I have gone to Toastmasters as well and taken one of their classes. Absolutely loved it. Everyone can learn from Toastmasters. That's an absolute. Lisa Leisman, way over there at the end. What is the most important part of print marketing?
To me, the most important part of print marketing is taking your brand and putting it across all the things that you're printing, everything. And that's what we can do. We have a team of graphic designers on staff at all times too. So usually we have one designer that works with you, because I feel like every designer, I'm sure you can attest to this, you get have kind of a style. And once you match with that certain business, then you can have everything. They'll design everything how it needs to be. We also just print, so if you have your own designer, you can also send the things in. But we keep everything on track and everything looking exactly how it should be. All your colors matching, all of their fonts matching, all that kind of fun stuff. So once they see it, when you see Target, you know everything's branded Target. That's the biggest thing, is when people see that, they think of you.
So how do you keep, when they reorder a year from now, how do you make sure the colors match?
Ooh, we keep print samples of everything.
All
You should see my upstairs. I have files everywhere. It's very organized, but they're everywhere. But yes, we keep print samples of everything, so we match it up from year to year, because printers react differently every day. It's super fun.
Jason, tell us why we need social media after the pandemic.
The pandemic took a hit on everybody. I mean, that's very well known based on the numbers of businesses that have closed versus been staying open. But as I've seen on social media, the number of people that have been on social media has dramatically risen. Worldwide, 56% of people are on social media of some sort. United States is 92% of people. Average people in the United States are on social media 2.5 hours a day. They go to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, dear God. Anyway, they go there for entertainment, information. They go there to get what they need. People will go to as much to Instagram to look about restaurants these days as they will to Google. So if you're not on social media, if you're not posting regularly, if you're not trending, if you're not there, and they go there and look, and you're not, if you haven't posted it in weeks, they're going to assume you're closed. They're going to assume that your business died. They're going to assume that you're too busy to give back, that you haven't had a chance to do what you need to do to make sure that you're giving back to your clients. And so social media now is more important ever, just because the people are watching. And it's one of the cheapest forms of marketing there is.
So Jason, you keep using the term social media, but I want to be really specific. Can you help people market themselves on like TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, if that's even a thing? What are the different social media channels you can help people with?
Really all. I've worked social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Facebook is still the most popular. A lot of people still use Facebook. Instagram is really starting to rise up. Snapchat is becoming more and more. And TikTok is really taken over, and I'm hoping that it's going to fade away. Just because I've spent probably 2 hours a day just watching stupid videos. It's part of my job, but but honestly, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for your brand and your identity to be on there and trending, right? So they're looking for cute videos that convey a message of what you do and to give back with relevant hashtags. And you have to be ever so careful to make sure you're consistent with your messaging, with what you're saying, how you're saying it, your brand identity, again, the relevant hashtags that go along with it. as well as consistency of posting. Because if you post 3 times a week for 6 months and then magically you get sick, or you have no content and then you stop for 3 weeks, you've lost your traction and your analytics are going to take a huge hit, which is going to hurt your SEO, which is going to hurt your traffic to your website, which is going to hurt your business.
So during the pandemic, I was actually helping a lot of folks in Pine County. And one of the challenges they had was so many of these businesses, what I say, just look at their feet and do business. They've never changed or developed over the past decade. And when I asked them, we should start posting on social media, they're like, yeah, someone set it up and we don't know the password to get in. And it's been like 2 years since they posted. The same thing with their website. They have no idea about their website or how to get into it. So we worked really hard to bring them into the 21st century and help them kind of market themselves in ways that they never thought they had to before. So I digress. So Randy, I'm looking right at you. I hear all the time that print is so expensive. Tell me why newspapers are so expensive.
Besides the ever increasing cost of paper and ink and transportation and all that stuff.
You could say it's really not. You get a great return on your investment.
I was getting to that.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, because the real question is expense compared to what? And you've probably all heard the term, you get what you pay for. And so marketing is an investment. And I mentioned before, it is important to have all the information in front of you. You want to know everything about the radio. You want to know everything about social media. You want to know about all of it. Internet, all the digital programming that you can do. And for us, the real value, it's really about value over expense. And our audience is, we feel, is a huge value, and here's why. And if you don't mind, I've got some statistics that I should read.
We love statistics. Everybody here does.
Third-party research. 86% of Minnesota adults read local or digital newspapers. 86%. 69% of Minnesota adults read local print, 71% local digital newspapers. 78% are under the age of 65. 69% are homeowners, which I imagine most businesses are trying to reach. 69% have attended or graduated from college, so usually a little higher on the, they're highly educated. And being homeowners, they usually have an income of $50,000 or more, many over $100,000. 72% have lived in the community for at least 5 years, so they're invested in the community. Newspaper readers are more active in their communities. 8 out of every 10 newspaper readers vote in local elections. They care about their communities. So we got an election coming up. If you're running for office, you should probably look us up. Minnesota adults turn to their local newspapers for school, local government, events, sports, ballot issues, public safety, healthcare information, and many other information, more than any other media. The average ad recall for advertising effectiveness is 54%. And 50% use digital newspapers to decide what products to serve or buy. My favorite, most interesting stat is roughly 70%, 69-70% buy local. So I kind of compare it to, we were talking about before, when there was just basically three media, we had this big pond. And 70% of that, if you drop your line in, you're going to, it's going to be a potential customer. That pond is a little bit smaller, but still, that same 69-70% are people that are potential customers of yours. So don't forget the local newspaper. It's a viable audience.
Yeah, so Randy, over the past for decades, I was advertising in the local newspaper in my other business. One of the things that came up toward the end was on their homepage, they sold some digital marketing for us on that. That was crazy effective with how many people are hitting the website.
It was kind of cool because that was a way that you could direct people to your website. You go to a particular tab if a business wanted you just to go to their coupon page or their gallery if you're in home improvement business, and it was so cool. Print now is digital too with the QR codes. So it's just kind of fascinating how that objection is no longer an objection. But the bottom line is that you're going to want to take all the information you have and judge it for the audience and not by its expense.
So do you offer people the opportunity to advertise digitally on your website as well as print?
Yep.
That's what I was
For
getting
all of
at.
our markets, and we have a program too where we have a digital specialist that assists in getting people on other media other than our papers. So
Okay.
we have a much wider reach.
Great, thank you. Michelle, back to you. Is managing email marketing a lot of work?
Like a lot of things that are worth doing, it takes some work on the front end because you earn a lot more from email marketing if you set up a series of emails for people. So if they get just a welcome email, they're not as likely to interact and buy from you, which is ultimately the goal. You're going to sell them something. But if you create a series of emails, you're much more likely to get a good return on your investment. So it does take some planning initially to create those messages and decide on a plan of when those emails are going to go out. What's the trigger? What's the message? What are you trying to share? What are you trying to teach them? Kind of a general, it works for just about anything, the 80-20 rule. You want to serve your readers, in this case, 80% of the time you're just serving them helpful information. You're trying to teach them something, and the other 20% you're trying to sell them something. So once you get it set up, most good email services, everything is automated. So it's a little bit of work on the front end, and then it's
So
pretty
Michelle,
easy.
for your clients, what is kind of the average number of email recipients that go out in an email blast for your clients?
You know, I have customers who have just a few hundred on their list, and then I have some that have closer to 10,000 on their list. So it really depends how much effort they've put into collecting emails.
So can you just use someone else's email list and send out emails?
No.
No,
You
you want to
know
really
better.
elaborate on that because I know you cringe when people say that, but
Yeah.
that's a question that I've gotten many, many times.
Yeah, nobody wants to be that person. No, you you want to collect emails in a legitimate way. You want people to opt in. You want to offer them a lead magnet, so you're going to give them something in exchange for their email, and that doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It can just be a checklist or some useful little tidbit of information, and then you legitimately have their email that you're not going to share or sell with anyone. And yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Okay, thank you very
Can I
much.
piggyback on that real quickly?
Of course.
When I used to do management consulting, I had a client that was doing just that, and he took somebody else's list, and I warned him, don't do this. He got a $5,000 fine when he got caught, so don't do it. Don't
Yeah,
do it.
please don't do it.
Blacklisted on there.
No.
So Lisa Leisman, what is your favorite part of print marketing? And I really hope you don't say branded apparel because 3 people up here have it and you don't.
My favorite part, I think, really, it's meeting for me personally, it's meeting the business owners, especially local. Like most of our business is within 30 miles of Forest Lake. So it's really meeting them and learning about their business and then sitting there and conversing about the things that we can do for them, things that will benefit their business. Just the different options that we do have. I mean, print marketing goes from a business card all the way to, see that sign over there, the menu? I printed that for her taco truck. So it's like the big, and then even branded apparel, we could do that. But all the things, like there's just such a big array that we can help so many different people in so many different ways to help grow your business.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Jason, I think that social media is so stinking easy. Why can't people just do it themselves?
Oh, it's true. It's very easy. I shouldn't even have a job, to be honest, right? No, it's really it's a double-edged sword. It's one of the easiest things to get into and the hardest things to keep up with. anybody can sign up for social media. Anybody can get onto social media. It is, number one, keeping up with your passwords. You know, we talked about that earlier. You know, how many clients I've had said, oh yeah, I started a Facebook group 3 years ago and I have thousands of followers and I haven't posted anything and I have no idea how to get onto it. And so that is just lost clientele. So that's number one. Number two is it's doing it correctly. I've seen clients that have done social media suicide where they have had someone that said something not so nice about their business, and somebody who is doing their social media says something derogatory back on social media, and people catch that and screenshot it, and hours taken down and apologies, but at that point it's been shared around with local news, it's been shared around, you know, Facebook groups, it's been shared around so many different ways, and then people are having to respond to that. And then again, it's time, right? So we all have small businesses, we all have things, we're all trying to grow, we're all trying to work as little as we can to make our businesses as big as we can.
So how, when you manage someone's social media accounts, do you help them navigate these things that come in that might not be really favorable for the business? And how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so we have brainstorming. Sometimes we have come to Jesus meetings if something really happens where I've worked for, I won't say which client it was. We had something really big happen a couple years ago that was not favorable, that a documentary was put out about. And that was a hard one because it was days worth of negative feedback and everything. And you really have to rally behind how to put things out in a positive light without taking blame without taking blame.
Sure.
You know, social media is one of those like weird game kind of things.
Well, sometimes you actually have to accept blame. Not everyone's perfect. So
right. It just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
But it's time, and it's being able to do it.
Right, for sure. And being able to monitor it so it doesn't fester with too many comments that keep going down. So Brad, does radio work with digital marketing? You hear a lot of people talk about digital here.
Sure. Radio is great because we can make it present. Radio is great because it's a passive medium. So that means you have the radio on at the office, you have it on in the car, we're talking to you. We're talking to you. You're not actively going out. It's great, all these other, you know, especially digital and social, you're going out there, you're looking for content, you're looking for information, you're looking for this. With radio, you're looking for entertainment, you also get the commercials. And with the commercials, they're there and consistently there, and it's passive. And then with the frequency and hearing it over and over again, guess what we're doing? We're telling them to do what? Usually to go to a website. Sometimes if it's a really easy phone number, if it's 651 carpets, okay, we can tell, we can do that. But it's to go to a website, and and we can get that branded. And sometimes just saying the name of the business, I got to Google that, I got to look that up. So now that's SEO. That's not even, you're not even competing because you're typing the name of the business directly in, and that's what I'm talking about the Google search in the head. But that's how it works. We move people from radio to the business. Usually the first step is digital. I want to find out more about it. And then we're handing it off. So they work perfectly together. It's a great way to get those passive people into the active role, to sign up for the emails, to go to the website, to check out the social media, etc. So that's how they work together.
Great. Lonnie, if someone has a limited budget, can they still work with a graphic designer like you?
Yeah, of course. It goes back to the whole DIY aspect. They're going to take so much of their own time trying to do their DIY stuff that they could, hire me either. I've worked with clients on a daily basis, and I work with clients 1 to 2 times a year that just need that special event marketed and planned and graphics. So really, I can go anywhere in between that. I like to sit down with people, and just like your graphic design is going to be custom tailored to you and your brand, we can work out a plan that works out best for you based on your budget and your priority list. I like to tell clients you really need to have a logo. I know a lot of businesses that don't have a logo. It's just words, font, as their logo, but you really want to stand out from all the other businesses, and a logo is the best way to do that, and it's one of the cheapest ways to get out there. And then once you get that logo, you can start, putting together a branding book, consistently branding, like we talked about before, just being out there, and clients can recognize your name. So I'd start with the.
How important is color in your design?
I think it's pretty huge. It's really a personal thing, though. I mean, like, I have my favorite colors. You guys all have your favorite colors. But it's also an emotional thing. Looking at different colors, there's a whole emotional aspect to it. And then trying to set yourself apart from other companies, too. But I mean, like, take a look at some of your iconic logos and try to think of those. If McDonald's were to be purple, we couldn't even fathom that these days. So it's just, once they have that, they're not going to change it up. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa Burnside, you talked about being on Zoom, and you talked about people that are a little bit shy. How can an introvert market themselves?
That's a great question to figure out. How can an introvert market themselves, and why would they even want to market themselves? You have to, particularly when you're small business. The business is all about you. You miss opportunities by not marketing yourself. You will come to networking events. You will have opportunities to be in these big group situations, and you say nothing. That doesn't help you out. You've just spent the money to be there, but you need to get the confidence to talk to different people, and you need the skill set to be able to do that. One of the things that we do at Toastmasters is similar to what we're doing here today, is called table topics. We're giving you a question. You have 1 minute to 2 minutes to just talk about that. And if you don't like the question, you change it. You practice being impromptu, and it's very important. Something I found really interesting, Brene Brown is an international speaker. She speaks to thousands and thousands of people. She's an introvert. When she's done, she's totally drained. She goes and stays by herself to kind of refill her batteries. But she has such a passion for her message that she had to get through that in order to get her message out. And being a business owner, if you are an introvert, the more you practice in safe environments with, this very safe group of people, the more that you can get out and get your message out, relay your passion. And most of the time, you know what you're talking about. The other people have no idea. You don't have to be scripted. They don't know what you're about to talk to them about. So if you learn to talk from your heart, you'll generally be very successful. So it's super important for introverts to learn how to come out of their shell, even for a little bit of time.
Well, I love Brene Brown. Everything she's done is just phenomenal. If you haven't looked her up, she's got some tremendous videos on there.
To add on to what you were
Yeah,
saying,
please
when
do.
I first started Toastmasters, I was on Zoom because it was during COVID, but I still couldn't read to the group without actually having that in front of me and being really nervous. And they work with you. It's like little baby steps, almost like it's a little step program that they teach you how to speak in front of people. And I'm still working on those skills, but one of the best things I did.
But you're here.
I'm
Yeah,
here,
Lisa.
yes.
Yeah.
Same thing.
3
I
years
was
ago, I
forced
wouldn't
to
have
go.
been
Yeah,
here.
I was forced to go to Toastmasters, which it was fantastic. I think overall everybody should do it. But I think the biggest thing, like you just said, is you're talking about like something that you know and something that you do every day, like most of the time every day. And so it's like you're gonna know the most about it. And so I think just focusing on that is the best way to do it, just to be able to like this. And like she said too, nobody else knows what you're gonna say, so that's it.
Absolutely. And, Lisa, you also said that, an introvert has to market themselves. David Pink has a book out there that says to sell is human. Basically, every single day, all day long, we are all selling, whether it's to our spouse or convincing our child to pick up whatever we need them to pick up. And so I think this is not just introverts. I think we all would be better off if we were better communicators. And being an introvert just makes it twice as tough. But we all still need to do it. Jason, we're going to go back to you. What's the one thing that you see your clients do that makes you cringe?
So it's I don't need it or I don't use it. It's one of the others. we'll put things together and we'll get things rolling, and then after a year or two, they'll think, oh, I can do this. Why am I paying somebody? It's happened multiple times, and then they'll say, I'll just do it myself. And I just normally say, okay, just let me know when you're ready to hire me back again. And they stop, and 6-8 weeks later, they give me a call back, and they're like, we're sorry, what do we need to do? And then we go back to the table of, because it's one of those things that seems very easy to do, but when you're running a small business, a successful business, you have a ton of things to do than worry about analytics of your social media, because it's not about just what you're posting, but when you're posting, the audience that you're posting to, the time of day, your audience in general, what the message is that you're posting. There's a lot of analytics that people don't know about that you have the options to see on social media. And if you don't know how to read the analytics, know the analytics, and to be able to post at the right times with the right message, you've lost your social media message.
So how do you know when the client should be actually boosting or paying for social media posts or reach? How do you determine that?
One is their dashboard. You can look at the analytics and the outreach. I am very big on organic reach versus inorganic reach. I'm probably the least. Most marketers cringe when I say that. They're very apt to say pay and boost. But I feel like it's more genuine if it's organic, because organic reach has a better ROI than inorganic reach. It takes a lot more time, it takes a lot more energy and a lot more effort, yes. But at the same time, it's better in the long run. And so, yes, I can get my clients a lot better if if they spend money for a event that's coming on to boost a post on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, so an event would be one thing that you would advocate
Correct.
paying for.
But just overall, organic reach and non-paid post are the better with just hashtags.
Perfect, thank you. Lisa Leisman, what background do you have in print marketing?
So I have an associate's degree in graphic design, and then I've actually been in the print marketing industry for 11 years, and I've specifically worked for Rapid Press and then now own for 9 years. So I have that much time to learn to be with all the sorts of different clients, and we help customers from hospitals, like people like the hospitals, and then all the way down to people who are just starting businesses. Big thing now, I think, are after COVID, so many people have been starting new businesses, which is fantastic because I love working with new businesses. But I think just working with all those people and the different things that they need gives me the background to have for everything. From, like I just said, from business cards all the way to t-shirts to posters, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's just having that time working with so many different people and then having the design degree behind it too is just what I need to help whoever comes through the door.
What if someone has a limited budget? Are you able to help them?
Absolutely.
What if they have an unlimited budget?
Ooh, even better. Those are my favorite kind.
Randy, how can you tell if newspaper marketing is going to help a business or good for them?
Good question. I think what Jason's just said it a second ago too. I think we can all agree that marketing is about having the right message at the right time, at the front of the right audience. And so I think it starts with a needs analysis. You got to find out what businesses' needs and goals are. And the pandemic's kind of changed that. A lot of people and businesses are looking at 3 months instead of a year, but you kind of got to tack that down. And then you got to address what those needs are and present the right plan of action. And some of it may be they need to do some other, I'm always for not all the marbles in one basket sort of thing. But, it may be they really need a brand. And so that's been talked about how important the branding is. Some may have that down and they just might need to be associated with the community. So sponsorships may be what they need, Some are just, events. And so events need to be a little bit bigger and a little bit larger, but they only may need to have 1 or 2 events, during the year. So we tack all that down and really go over what their needs. I think if you're a business and a non-local business, and I think you all get approached 7, 8 times a week probably. And I think what I found a lot of times is the non-local businesses, they don't ask you what your needs and goals are. And if you're not being asked that, I'd kind of question, but I think everybody here has your best interest at heart and are going to be asking those questions. So, once that's all down, we will get you the best plan and work within your budget. And we just talked about that because some are limited and won't be able to do all the things that you'd like to see them do. But you work with them, and sometimes it's slow steps, and sometimes you just dig right in. A branding program too. Once you kind of start, you got to be consistent. That was talked about on the panel here today. Being consistent. You can't just kind of start and stop, and that's what we're in that analysis will do, is talk about the importance of starting a plan and then sticking with it. So, but it all starts again at that needs analysis and goals.
Randy, I think you really hit the nail on the head on that. I think that everyone in this panel is going to help a particular business solve the problem they have.
Correct.
And the people that you get calling on the phone daily or walking in your door, they want to sell you something and they don't even care or know if you need it. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it really is assessing what the people's needs are and finding something that fits
Correct.
What they need, for sure. Michelle, we talked a little bit about return on investment. What can someone expect for an ROI on their email marketing?
Well, fortunately, because if you're an email user, which most of us are, right, like it or not, 99% of us check our email every day. So depending on which survey you look at, you can expect to get between $36 and $38 back on every dollar you spend on email marketing. So pretty significant.
That's very significant. And I know from a personal testimonial, we do a fair number of email marketing as well, and we can physically hear when the phone starts to ring more often. We go, oh, our social media hit. And what's happening, what's really crazy about that, is they're not calling necessarily about whatever special we're running, but you're top of mind, so they're reminded of, oh, I need to give them a call. I need T-shirts or whatever that is.
Customer who sells something very expensive, and it always would amaze me. He would say that every time the newsletter went out, within a day, he would get a phone call, and at least one phone call, and book one appointment to show off this very expensive product, and it was, amazing.
Awesome. I love it. Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Brad, does radio help with recruitment and retention?
Yes.
Tell us how.
It's kind of a softball question. I appreciate that. So I just came from, we work with a gentleman, his name is Chris Stonick. He's been working in radio for 35 years, using radio for recruitment and retention. And I know that's something big. If your business is not currently needing people to walk through the door, you know businesses that need people. And radio does about 7 things when you're doing radio recruitment. Number 1, it's recruiting. You can mention people with service anniversaries and remind them how important they are and thank them. You're branding. You're telling the community you're there and you're part of the community, you care. Those are just some of the things. And the idea is to get quality candidates off of it, not to talk to everybody and get as many as you can, as many resumes through the door. But if you have it crafted in such a way where you got a contact page, let's talk some more, you tell the story of your business, people respond, you can have that conversation, then you get to the next step where you can sell people on coming to your business, to working for you, which is huge. Because in this day and age, with all the open positions and everything, there's a lot of looking for the best deal or whatever. Why your company? You can tell that story during the commercial. and then get them to respond. So that it works really well. And send them to the website and continue that conversation, that process.
So Brad, I think everybody here in the audience, we've talked a lot about kind of generalities, but what kind of is like the minimum budget and maximum budget that someone would need in order to talk to Bob FM?
No, that's a great question. And when we talk about the budget, it's back to what we just talked about a moment ago. What are your needs? What are you trying to accomplish? How fast are you trying to accomplish those results? For example, we work with somebody who had a car dealership that had a huge sale at the fairgrounds. So what did we do? Boom, we had commercials every single hour, and sometimes more than that, to bring people to the fairgrounds for that. And sure enough, they sold 20, 30 cars off of that. That's a 1-week, 10-day campaign. Let's say you want to brand yourself. Of course, you can have branding in that particular thing, but really it's about the long term. That's the sprint. So let's talk about the car dealership at the fairgrounds. That's your sprint if you're a runner. Sprint, you got to get to the finish line right now, your 100-yard dash. Then you got your marathon runner. Most of us businesses are marathon runners. We want to be out there consistently, week after week after week, day after day, if you can afford it every day at a particular running that schedule. So you're always top of mind. So whatever that number is, saying what are the goals and how soon can you do it? And by the way, the marathoner, you can do a sprint within a marathon. You can brand, and then have a big sale. You can do that too. But that's how we determine it. So I don't like to throw out dollar amounts. But like I said, for under $100, we got somebody running overnights consistently, not just like one commercial. I mean, every night in front of the overnight audience.
I think that's pretty impressive. I don't think people would realize that radio is that inexpensive.
Yeah. And again, it depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it, because we can, almost any budget we can meet.
Perfect, thank you. Lonnie, I understand you do a lot more than just graphic design. What are some of the other things you do?
I don't want to step on any toes here, so.
We're all friends, I think you're
I know
okay.
we are friends, because I worked with Rapid Press and worked with Michelle, but I do a whole bunch of other things. I've done CMR logistics. I work in bookkeeping, virtual administration. I do newsletters and a lot of the graphics for the newsletters as well. But I like to offer kind of a one-stop shop for my clients, and if they need to brainstorm about best business practices and kind of where do we go from here, and what are some technologies that I can use in my business to help maybe kind of automate some things, some tasks that are kind of redundant and boring. I like to just kind of dabble in those things. Say, let me check out this piece of software here, or this app, and I'll let you know how it goes. And
wow,
so
that's great.
I like to. A lot of my clients are word of mouth, and they stick with me for a long time just because I can offer so much. So,
nice.
But I highly recommend everyone up here, because I feel that you really need to find someone that works with you really well and does a few different things for you.
So Lonnie, if we're going back to your graphic design, what is kind of what's the range of prices that people might expect to pay when they come and see you?
That's a very good question. Similar to the radio, it varies widely. You could pay a couple $100 for a logo with a few different reiterations, and then we work in a business card with that typically, but upwards of a couple $1,000s for a website. So if they just want one page for their website, it could be a lot less than that. So it's all over the board. That's why I like to just really sit down with the clients and figure out what is their specific plan and how can we move forward and what's their budget, and let's work within that.
Work within their budget. I love it.
Yep.
I think that's a common theme working with any small business. Here's what we can do with this budget, and if we stretch it a little bit, here's what we can get with that. Gosh, it sounds just like real estate, doesn't it? If you stretch your budget, you can get an extra bedroom, an extra bathroom, a pool.
It's all about, like real estate, you're like, what can I give up to get what I want? So
Prioritizing.
Prioritizing. So it's huge in small businesses.
Exactly. Lisa Burnside, I have to say last names because we have two Lisas sitting side by side down there.
I could be Dr. Lisa too, sometimes we can make that
I would love that.
distinction, so.
Dr. Lisa,
Yeah.
what does confidence have to do with marketing yourself?
Have you ever heard the word trust?
Of course.
I think most people understand that to do business with somebody, you need to trust them. One of the best ways that people can feel trust is that somebody exudes confidence. If you're dealing with somebody that hems and haws and ahs and ums, it's like, does this person really know what they're doing? But then if you have somebody that's confident, and I'm not talking about cocky or, somebody that's just off the charts here. I'm just talking about somebody that can communicate their passion, that can tell you straight out, this is what we have to offer. And if you have that confidence, which you get by improving your communication skills, people are more likely to trust you. And if they're more likely to trust you, they're more likely to do business with you. And confidence is so key in really knowing what you're doing and getting people to work with you.
Amen. I love that. So we've been asking people about pricing and where it fits. What does Toastmasters run?
Toastmasters, Lionel Lakes Toastmasters is $100 a year. A year. And October 18th, we have a 1-session class, 2 hours for $29. That is through the Centennial Community Ed. We've got information on it over here. From 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And you get the basics of public speaking. We analyze audiences. That's a big thing. You need to know who is it that you are speaking to, what's in it for them, so you know what to bring to them. And we'll talk about how do you organize your speech. They've just asked me a question. How do I answer this question and sound like I have half a clue what I'm talking about? And the last piece to it as well is what are some of the dynamics of speech? Using your face, using your hand gestures, so you're not just sitting there wringing your hands, which Michelle and Lonnie are really good at. They're really good at that. So what do you do with some of those types of things? And when I used to be teaching, I was coming down the escalator one day, and this guy goes, "It's you, the lady with the faces." I'm like, "What does that mean?" He said, "When you're up there speaking, you do all these weird things with your face." I said, "Is that a bad thing?" "No, it's entertaining." So depending upon what your reason is for meeting up with somebody or speaking with them, you'll want to know, what do you do with your face? What do you do with your hands? And how can you answer these questions in a manner that actually makes sense to people? So that's $29 for that one-night class, or $100 and you come and go all you want for Toastmasters for the entire year. It's great, and you meet some fabulous people.
And Dr. Lisa, when you say come as much as you want, they set it up weekly, don't they?
Right. Lionel Lakes Toastmasters Club is Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. It's online. You want to come and check it out, come check it out for free. It's on our website. I've got the QR codes over there. Didn't get my printing done ahead of time. So you can. Yep, we're on the chamber website as well. So yeah, and anybody, hey, if you've got nothing better to do on a Tuesday night, just click on the Zoom link. It's right there on the front page of our website, and you're welcome in. Love
Awesome.
to have you.
Thank you. Lisa Leisman, we've been talking about pricing back and forth. What would someone expect when they came in to Rapid Press if you were going to set them up with some print marketing? What kind is that price range?
Again, I think it's just like everyone. It kind of depends on what we're looking to do. The biggest thing I think depends on quantity of how many you're doing. Of course, the more you do, the cheaper it's going to be per piece. But it kind of working with that business, figuring out their budget. We don't have any minimums, which is pretty nice. You can come in and we can print you 2 or 10. I think that's huge. You don't have to come in and order 1,000. There's other places where you have to do 1,000 of these to even get in the door. And I think too, it kind of depends on if we have to do the design involved with it as well. If someone comes in with just something to copy off, we can do color copies, black and white copies. It's so hard to tell with the range, but we have something that for everyone. I mean, really, in reality, you can come in and make a black and white copy for 15 cents. It depends on kind of paper too. There's lots of it. You have to ask lots of questions when people call for a quote.
Well, there's a famous quote by Joe Namath that says, if you like what you can do, you can have a lot of fun. And when you have a lot of fun, amazing things can happen. And I think that you can tell that these folks right up here, they seem to have a lot of fun with what they do. And I think they can do really amazing things. But we're not done. I just wanted to say, Lisa laughs a lot when you go into Rapid Press, so I know she's having a lot of fun. Michelle, same question to you. What would someone expect to pay when they decided to hire you for some some email marketing?
Probably the same answer, Steve. It really depends. The email services like Constant Contact, I'm a certified partner with Constant Contact. I'm also familiar with MailChimp. They have different levels of things that you can do, different services that they offer, and then there also depends on how big your list is. That also determines their cost every month, and then it depends what the client wants from me. Do they want me to completely write the newsletter? Do they want me to come take pictures of a new product? Do they want me to shoot a video? Like what all do they want? So it's like everybody else, it depends. It's a custom solution.
Yeah, well, that brings up a point. You mentioned that you maybe do pictures and video. Tell us a little bit more about that. I had no idea that someone who did email marketing would actually come over and take video and photos.
Well, I'm not a professional.
But you're really good.
I just enjoy a good iPhone photography.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I think the expectation on social media is not that it's perfect. I think the expectation is of being real. And if you're looking like a real company doing real things, I think that's all that matters.
I think for anything, for a small business, for all of us probably, for people in general, if you wait for something to be perfect, you'll never do it. So capturing it, that's why people say, your iPhone or your cell phone is the best camera because you always have it with you. And if you're not using it, it's a waste.
And even phone photos are better than nothing.
Yes, and now they're so much better than what a camera used to do for us in many ways. So.
Well, it's automatically connected to the cloud and all your devices, so it's far better than a camera.
I always tell people, I'm like, we need photos. I'm a big photo person. I go, if I can't find your photo, the photo for you specifically, I will find a stock photo that works.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much awesome stock photos, even for free. There's a lot of free stock photo sites. So.
Okay. Lisa.
Yeah, I think that, too, for Michelle, I feel like having you come in and being the outside eye to and taking a picture is way better than the person who makes the product or sells the product because they see it a certain way, and you could just be an outside person to be like, oh, well, this would actually look better for everyone else who, you're just coming into the situation versus me who sees it every single day at this certain. So I think that helps too, and then I agree with Lonnie too. Pictures. Over words, pictures.
Let me envision where I'm
Yes,
going and what I'm going to
yes.
do or what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Jason, the only one that's given me a really good definitive answer here was Brad. So what would they expect to pay when they come and see you?
Go to my website, jmayhewmarketing.com, to see a pricing list. No, I'm just kidding. It's not there. It really depends on what the client is looking for, just like everything else.
But I guess my question is it obtainable to a small company with 1 or 2 employees?
Of course. I've worked for single-person businesses all the way up to major corporations. And so budget is budget, and my passion really is telling stories to be able to showcase that big corporate feel in the small business setting. So I love being able to be creative within a small budget. It's fun for me. It's to be able to showcase the talents that I've had in the bigger setting and the small business. Sometimes they kind of get knocked off to see what you can do with a small budget. I do drone photography and videography and all that stuff as well. And sometimes the clients are just like, and that was just that, like, yeah, because sometimes it's 15 minutes of work and it's not a lot of effort for someone that knows what they're doing to do it correctly, and then you can knock something out pretty quick, and something that would take them a day can take you 30 minutes.
Exactly. The DIY tends to last way too long. It's my 27 trips to Menards trying to fix something that I shouldn't be trying to fix. So we all have tons of experience up here on the panel, so I want to do something just a little funner. Do you guys whoever has a great story that they've had in business over the past years, go ahead and share that fun story that you've had. Anyone think of anything? Because There's a lot of good stories out there. Everybody's quiet.
Somebody's going to go first. They just need to have the idea.
I think something
Sounds like you
fun.
volunteered.
Yeah, fun. I have fun every day.
I'm working on the idea. I'm stalling because I know I've got lots of things. I just need to hear something in my head, and then I'll go, oh, that inspired.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
while you're thinking about that, let's take some questions from the audience. Questions from the audience. Any questions? Yes, go ahead, Barb.
So Jason, isn't there a misconception that people think if they do an organic ad on Facebook, it is going to reach every friend they have, every single follower, and everybody in the world?
It's very true. If your people are not engaging with you on a regular basis, even if they follow you, like you, and have followed and liked you in the past, it's gone. What you've done with them. So that's why being regular and engaging with them, not only on what you post, but also responding. Having a two-way street conversation with the people that are on the social media with you. If someone comments on something, for you to hit that little heart beside it and then comment back, something as small as, thank you so much for coming in. Your business means the world to me. Creates a two-way street, and it opens up those pathways for them to see the next post. So if they liked you and they came in your business and they liked you 3 weeks ago and then magically you disappeared, it's because they're not engaging with you. And so that's where being able to showcase on a regular basis and pushing them to come to your social media for new and upcoming things that are coming out, sales, specials, and engaging them to be able to comment on things and not just like a post is what really gets those people to see what you do. Because that's the biggest misconception is that I posted it, my page has 3,000 likes, so 3,000 people plus have seen it. You're going to be lucky if 5% of those people have seen that post.
What other questions do we have? Yes, go ahead, Larry.
I got a question for Randy. So Randy, ideally for like me, I'm gonna run like a small cafe and catering. When marketing and placing an ad in the newspaper, what am I ideally trying to focus on? Branding or what is it that?
So you're trying to reach who, in this case? Who's your audience? Who's?
Like in the news, like if I'm in a newspaper, I'm looking for, like you said, a lot of logos, a lot of people from the community, small family people that's engaged. So those are the customers that I'm looking for, the guests. So what am I trying to target that ad for more so that'll benefit me more? Like, is it more for branding or am I offering like a coupon or something?
More on the branding end, and you'll probably in that case want to hit some of the key times just before, 2 or 3 months before graduation, and some of those key times where people are. You'll know that better than I would as far as when your peak times are and all that. But you want to catch them before then when they're thinking about it. Coupons. Generally, people don't take the scissors to the newspaper anymore. So there's special coupon generators out there, and we have one of those as well. But in the newspaper itself, if you have something to offer, just say it. But don't put I wouldn't put a coupon in that because redemption from a regular newspaper is probably not going to be there.
So Larry's question was, if putting an ad in a newspaper, what should he be focused on? Branding or coupons or trying to turn a customer immediately? Thank you, Randy, for that answer.
Randy, I have a question.
Yes.
For a newspaper ad for someone like Larry, because I can imagine if Larry did an ad in the newspaper, him having a QR code that would take people to his
Yes.
menu.
We talked
What
about
size does a QR code in the newspaper?
limit
like,
one by one.
One by one
Yeah,
to be,
be
okay.
a little bit bigger just to be sure, but yeah, we have tested that out.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering how small you could go and have it
Yeah.
work in the newsprint.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
about what I
little
did on
smaller than
my
that,
board,
it's
yeah.
not probably going to work.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
So can,
Yes.
I think Larry has a specific menu. It's not like a typical sit-down restaurant where you get a hamburger, french fries, don't you serve specific types of food?
Yeah, so like every night we do an intimate entree, and that's located on our website for like 3 months. So I'm like, what he got out of it, what I got out of it is just like, more so was when I run a newspaper ad, is to put like my logo, like a picture of my logo on there, and then maybe a QR code to link them to the
Exactly.
website. So that way we're just putting our logo out there, getting familiar with them, and then giving them that QR code to direct them to the website, so that way they can look at all the services and the pictures and all that.
Yeah, we've
So-
been pushing those QR codes a lot more, because just to make the paper electronic, so to speak. And then we'd probably suggest a digital line or digital ad that would go to a URL with a gallery or your menu or
Yeah.
wherever you want people to go.
Larry, I mean, if I were to design an ad for you, I would definitely put your food on there. I mean, it looks great, it tastes great. People would want to see that with your logo, and then some information about you and where they can find you and
You
QR
could only
code.
get
Yeah.
smell-o-vision.
Yes, yes, scratch and smell.
Yeah.
So,
Any other questions? Yes.
Have any
John.
of you, I don't know who I would direct it at, but have any of you marketing experts noticed an increase in your clients' business through QR codes? Have they been successful? Are you able to track that?
John had asked if you using QR codes has been successful and if you've been able to measure the results. Anyone?
I don't track, like most of my clients actually bring in their QR codes, but we've been having a ton of people like sending me their QR code to put on all their print materials. So they specifically created themselves and they track it themselves, but I can say that it's like hugely blown up. Because they were huge like when I was in college, but you had to have the QR code reader. And now it's like, now it's like right on your camera. So I would say that they're used a heck of a lot more now just because like 50% of my clients have been coming in now bringing their own. And it's just blown up a lot.
And do you design your own QR code? Because I've heard they've had issues with QR codes being double used, so when you go to use it for a specific item, it generates a different product. Or
I've heard that issue with free QR codes where there's a certain time limit on them. I don't know specifically which ones are the best to use or anything like that, just like I said, because I haven't done that. But yes, I have heard of using the free QR code reader that there's a time limit on them.
Okay. Lonnie?
you can actually do a QR code that opens up your email client as well, which people don't really think of. And you can actually like put the subject line in there and you can pre-fill out the email if you wanted to.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. I have one on my board over there, and if you scan it, it'll actually open up an email to me with this event as the subject line.
I love that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, Jason.
Well, it depends on what you're doing with your QR code as well, right? So there are multiple different services out there that you can pay for as well to, one, secure your QR code to make sure that it's not reproducible, and two, they can offer you a lot more services to go with your QR code.
Well, I want to thank the Quad Chamber for putting this together. I want to thank our panelists for being here. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you very much.